KFYO, good morning. It's Lubbock's First News at 9 after the hour. Tom and Laura, all this week we've been in observance of Ag Awareness Week. Now, you wouldn't necessarily think that quail were under the agricultural umbrella, but they are. In the house, we've got Brad Dabbert, Texas Tech University, and the Quail-Tech Alliance. Who knew? Not me. What does a quail guy do?
Well, a lot of the time what we're watching for is rain. We're hoping for rain a lot of the time because that's one of the major factors that supports our quail population. But what we spend a lot of time doing in the spring and the fall especially is going out and doing counts to see what our populations are doing. And we also try to monitor nesting and chick survival and just what's ultimately going on in the population.
Why quail as opposed to any other kind of bird or wildlife?
There's just a lot of interest in quail. It commands a lot of passion in people.
Well, they cook up real nice.
Yeah, they do. They taste really good. But there's a lot of people, their heritage, hunting heritage, or people just have listened and like to hear them whistle on the rangeland. For years and years, have heard that and participated, and they've seen the populations decline, pretty precipitously, and it's kind of a little bit scary because the rolling plains, the area we're in, used to be a really strong population stronghold, and we didn't worry about what was going on in the southeastern United States because our populations were good. But the last few years, they've really been going down and worrying a lot of people.
What kind of area, and as far as this alliance area, is it ranches, just public land, or what?
We actually have what we call anchor ranches, and what we're trying to do with that's a little play on words. We're trying to anchor quality habitat in the counties in the rolling plains of Texas. And so we have right now we have 26 ranches enrolled in our program. Some of the really historic ones, the 4.6s, the Pitchfork, the Wagner, and then just as important, as our other ranches like the Mill Iron and the XL and the Kritzer. But we're spread north of the Canadian River all the way down to below Sweetwater and east to Breckenridge. We have areas, and we've spread that out so that we could try to get, the big regional picture of what's going on with quail populations.
Okay, Laura, how do you imagine that they chase these birds and keep count on them?
I cannot even imagine how you would do that. What do you guys do to track birds?
Well, it's a lot of intensive work. I have 7 graduate students and about 8 undergraduate research technicians, and we go out and we actually trap the birds, taking the very best care we can, because our intention is to put on a radio monitor on them and then release them, and we want them to be as healthy as possible and act naturally. And with those radios, we can actually follow them around, and now we've just started a new program.
Do you strap them to their legs or something? Or
no, it's a little necklace that weighs, the bird, weighs about 8 or 9 ounces, and this is just only about 5% of their body weight, and they carry it as a little necklace around their neck, and they're kind of used to weight being there because that's where they store food as well inside their crop there.
Interesting.
So you track them via GPS? Yes. The newer technology that we're using, and it's pretty expensive, they're about $1,500 a piece, are GPS monitors.
Wow, that's more expensive than any necklace I own.
Yeah, we put some pretty good bling on them,
no kidding.
And so we try to keep pretty good track of them. But that actually, we can get a location every 10 minutes, which give us really good quality data as far as habitat use, and that's what we're trying to do is work with habitat as one of the major factors for population growth.
What happens if one of these birds is shot down during hunting season and they've got one of those little necklaces?
Well, we just hope the pellets don't go through the radio, but that's kind of part of the price of doing business.
So you don't encourage like hunters to return them if they find them on a bird, or?
Yes, but we work real closely with all of our ranches so that they return everything everything to us.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good.
Okay, how much loss of these things have you had so far? Have you lost any?
No, we have not lost any so far.
Oh, I hope we didn't just jinx you.
Yeah, really. We do, the non-GPS ones they're expensive too. They're $180 a piece, and we lose those because we'll have 100 of those out at a time, and so they're trying to follow them around, and sometimes these birds will just take off and go 4 or 5 miles, which would be beyond the range of some of these radios.
Right.
If it's a non-GPS thing, this is just like a radio transmitter thing, or what?
Yeah, the non-GPS ones are VHF transmitters. They transmit in the 149 to 151 range, and each one has got its own little crystal, so we can identify exactly where it is, and then we can go and skilled guys with a radio receiver can walk right up and pinpoint exactly where they are.
With the decline in the population, are quail are they becoming close to benger endangered?
No, we're not anywhere near that because of their broad range. You always hate to say that'll never happen because we said years ago, we'll never have to worry about a decline. But what happens is they because of the drought or things like poor habitat management or drought and those kind of things, they can become locally extinct in little certain areas where they're not. In other words, they're not as abundant and widespread, and then we have to wait for rainfall to come. And so what we're working on is management techniques to where we can keep those dips in the population not as low and get our highs in the population higher.
I always wondered this from, just a hunter standpoint, because there are places that I've been where you could always go and there were, birds galore. And I mean, you could hunt there every day and you would never run out of birds. So what is a kind of a good max population that you'd see in a real thriving area? I mean, how many birds per acre?
Well, that's a great question. It is really variable. But if you had a bird per acre, you would be doing excellent. We with our supplemental feeding technique we're using and excellent grazing management on the 4.6s, they had about a bird and a half per acre this past year. But it can drop way off from there. The highest that I'm aware that's been recorded is 3 to 5 birds per acre, and that would be in the southeastern U.S., Georgia, North Florida, where they get more rainfall than we do, and it's more productive.
Yeah, relatively speaking, when you flush a covey of quail and you're hunting, obviously where you're standing, and there may be 6, 8, 10, 15 birds, in this covey. So technically speaking, they all kind of run around together, and the average is, I guess you're getting from, when you say 1.5 birds per acre, how many acres are there out there on like a ranch like 4.6s?
The 4.6s is, I think, about 170,000 acres, and so all of it's not quail habitat. Every bit of it. Some of it is pasture for more for horses and things. But we, for instance, one of our large research pastures is 14,000 acres. So that one is the one that would have that we measured a bird and a half per acre on. So
nice. Okay, that kind of puts it in perspective. But I would have thought it would have averaged higher than that. But like I said, who knew? Man, interesting stuff.
It really is. It's fascinating what you can do with technology today.
Yeah. Brad Dabbert, he's with the Quail-Tech Alliance, Texas Tech University. You're also a professor in the school?
Yes, I teach wildlife population dynamics and upland game ecology in natural resources management department.
Thanks for being with us today, man. Appreciate you coming in and being the cherry on top of the Ag Awareness Week cake.
You bet. Enjoyed it. Thank you much.
Thank you.